Experiment with 35 millimeter diameter piezoelectric transducers available on eBay for just $1 a piece. This is a 5/1000 inch thick brass disc. Note that you will find on eBay other 35 millimeter discs that are laminated to a 50 millimeter diameter clear plastic sheet. These brass discs are 10/1000 thick and are much less suitable for this purpose. Much lower volume and considerable attenuation at higher frequencies. Don't use them. I made a cone using 8/1000 inch thick black paper found at an art supply store. The cone is 5.5 inches in diameter, not including the flange, and the cone apex is 2 inches high. To fashion the surround suspension flange, I used 1/16 inch thick foam plastic sheet from the craft store. If I had to do it again, I would look for something more compliant, maybe artificial chamois or microfiber cleaning cloth. I'm not sure. Or maybe the cone should not have any surround actually glued to the paper flange at all. Rather have a padded ring of felt for the flange to rest on, the only attachment point being a drop of glue to bond the cone apex to the center of the piezo disc. That's for later experiment, I guess. My first experiment was in free air. I used some scrap 3/8 inch gypsum wallboard as a cone mounting panel. 2-inch high blocks of MDF were glued to the mount, and a bridge plank of 3/8 inch wood with a hole cut to accept an end cap for 1-inch PVC pipe. The inside of the pipe cap has to be enlarged a little bit to a depth of about 1/8 inch for the 35 millimeter disc to rest in position. Then most of the end cap is removed with a hole saw like I did, or just saw off the end of it entirely. A tiny bead of hot melt glue locks the disc into the groove you created.
The National Broadcasting Company presents your old favorite, Little Jack Little and his orchestra, playing in the popular green room of Hotel Edison, just west of Times Square in New York City. The artist at the keyboard just completed playing his own song, Jealous, and his orchestra playing a new trend in modern music in the bolero rhythm. Now, NBC listeners, meet the artist, Little Jack Little. And Little Jack Little, come in and meet the audience.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and at this time we'd like to have you all meet Hortense, a little lady friend of ours, our sweet Hortense. And we started with the usual, here 'tis. Before I kiss Hortense, I always buy a necklace with a peppermints. Rain makes flowers pretty, I hear. I hope it pours on her for a year. I know she'd look immense. You never met a gal like sweet Hortense. Oh, my sweet Hortense. She ain't good looking, but she's got good sense. Before I kiss Hortense, I always buy a necklace with a peppermints. She's got dandy teeth in her mouth. One points north and the other points south.
Some preliminary conclusions. This experimental speaker, using a very cheap $1 piezoelectric transducer element, seems to be capable of producing pleasing audio at acceptable levels, at least comparable to the 1925-27 Radiola 100 and 100A loudspeakers. To act as a substitute for the high-impedance cone-type loudspeakers of the late 1920s, it will need a choke load for the output tube and a DC blocking capacitor to protect the piezo element. I will eventually determine if there is a cheap, easily available part that can serve that purpose. Perhaps an old, low-power wall wart transformer might do the job.